This farm looks a whole lot different in mid-July than it did last winter when we were here. We're out here today doing a little preseason scouting, and you got to take in account that, you know, it's going to be a whole lot different. Land features are going to change, grass is going to be higher. You know, this road that we're going to drive in on today that's really nice and dry, come January, it's going to be a muddy, muddy mess. You know, we want to keep the farmers happy. We don't want to tear their fields up. This week, Nate and I are going to be battling the elements. We're going to be chasing some canines here in Ohio. We've got rain, we've got snow, and we've got sleet. Stay tuned. It's trapping time. Trapping, an art form that has stood the test of time. A heritage built upon hard work, dedication, and pride. Rooted deep with the main goal of conservation, we, as trappers, live this history 365 days a year. With the help of some great friends, along with the love and support of my family, I'm carrying on that tradition. With all the pitfalls that I may encounter, the rewards more than outweigh the costs. Many of the greatest trappers in history have etched their name in time. This is my story. This is my time. This is trapping time.
Trapping Time is brought to you by Vapple at vappleproducts.com, Jeb's Chokes at jebschokes.com, Blind Turtle at blindturtle.net, Smokey's Deer Lures at smokiesdeerlure.com, Blackwater Hunting Services at blackwaterhunting.com, Southern Ohio Outfitters at southernohio.outfitters.com, Big Game Gut Glove at biggamegutglove.com, Dakota Line Snares at dakotalinesnares.com, PCS Outdoors at pcsoutdoors.com, Duke Trap Company at duketraps.com, Deep South Trapping Lures at deepsouthlures.com, Webster's Predator Control at shop.websterspredatorcontrol.com, Little Whiskey Girl at littlewhiskeygirl.com, Wolf Creek Products at wolfcreekproducts.net, Southern Snares and Supply at southernsnares.com, and Console Energy at consoleenergy.com.
You know, every year Nate and I hook up to run a little canine line, and our game plan this year was we were going to get out as many sets as we could. We were going to take a Saturday and Sunday, get as many out as we can. We had bad weather coming in, so and our logic was we were going to find strength in numbers. The more sets we had out, the easier we could keep them operating, the better chance we were going to have to catch some of these canines. You know, the farms we're on are loaded up, and coming from Pennsylvania, you know, we have a low coyote population. To come out here in a week and be able to get on some dogs real fast, it's a lot of fun. Well, we're headed to Steubenville, Ohio today. I came out a couple days ago and set some traps with Nate, and the weather has just been freezing cold. We finally had a little bit of a break. We're focusing mainly on coyotes, but we did see some fox tracks. Yesterday was our first check, and we didn't catch anything, but it seems a lot of times when you get into that transition of it being real cold to warm or any kind of change like that, we did see some sign. They were out moving a little bit, but they didn't really work the sets or nothing. So we got all of our sets out, and this bad weather hit. And I usually have what I like to call the rule of three. It usually takes about 3 days for the sets to start kicking. So I got in the truck. I was headed to Ohio on the third day, and I had nothing but excitement because I just had a feeling we were going to connect. We've only got about 30 sets out on this farm. We got a late start on one day. We're going to extend the line a little bit today perhaps, but we'll see what this one holds. These properties are just loaded with coyotes. We deer hunt them, and it's non-stop. Usually we'll come in here and we'll catch 20 dogs off of these farms a year, which is amazing because in PA and West Virginia, where I trap at, that's what you're looking at for a season. You're 20, 30 coyotes, and we're catching them off of one farm out here. They're starting to run in pairs. A lot of the tracks and stuff we've seen were in pairs, so hopefully we'll get out here and we'll have some fun in the trap. Nate worked late last night, so I'm sure he's going to be just raring to go this morning to go run trap line with me. So we set a couple traps together. He'd set one, I'd set one, so kind of a little competition between us to see who's gonna catch him. So I don't know how my ego is gonna handle if he catches one and I don't. So it could get interesting. Well, it looks like I got a lead in the competition. Gilbert Kid 1, Nate 0. We both set dirt holes right here. Basically, we used the same bait, just seeing which one was going to hit, and I guess I had the lucky horseshoe today because mine hit.
So what you're saying is he came from this way?
He came from that way. But pretty nice red fox, which is weird because Nate hunts us all the time and we never see any red foxes here. This is usually a guaranteed coyote spot, but our traps today is rule of 3. We've had him out for 3 days. Well, it looks like my trip from Pennsylvania was worth it today. My rule of 3 was hitting. We got a nice fox in the trap. When we come back, I'm going to show you a little closer look at the fox, the set, and the remake. But first, let's check out our friends at Consol Energy and see how important they are to conservation.
The Big Game Gut Glove is revolutionizing the way big game hunters and trappers are successful in the field. The 26-inch version fits over your elbows and protects you and your expensive hunting clothing from blood or cold water. They're made to fit your hands from extra small to extra large.
What I like about them, I can feel with them.
Existing products on the market don't give you the feel or protection you need. Wet or dry, the special non-slip grip bonds tightly to whatever you're handling. The Big Game Gut Gloves are reusable so you save money and promote going green.
Are infinite.
We're in a high today and trapping with Nate. We both set dirt holes right here. Basically, we used the same bait, just seeing which one was going to hit, and I guess I had the lucky horseshoe today because mine hit.
So what you're saying is he came from this way?
He came from that way. But pretty nice red fox, which is weird because Nate hunts us all the time and we never see any red foxes here. This is usually a guaranteed coyote spot, but our traps today is rule of 3. We've had him out for 3 days, but we use a little Smokies fox and coyote bait here. It was real cold this past couple days and we wanted something that was loud and caught a real nice fox. Now probably what we'll do, we'll reset this trap. I'll pull this trap, switch it out, reset a new one in here. I might make a dirt hole right off to the side of it just because he has just got an utter mess here. But all the scent that he's got here, I look for Nate's trap to hit tomorrow, but we'll throw a fresh one in probably just to be on the safe side. But we got 3 working traps right here because this weather's getting ready to get cold again. I think it's going to get good.
Funny, Robbie, that when you get this close to a catch circle, I guess you could smell that this was a fox.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
No doubt about it, and that's what's nice about it too. When it's getting cold, this smell is going to be here for a long time, and these other animals are going to come check it out. But I've got a bit of a mess here, trying to remake this, so we'll show you the remake on this messy fox. We'll dispatch him, get him out of here, and get on down the road. One of the reasons why I think Nate's set could hit is because A, mine's already been worked. It's been worked over hard. His is still what I would consider a fresh set. A coyote or a fox coming up in there, they may be a little intimidated by the smell of another fox or coyote. They're going to circle around it and work a set that hasn't been touched before. You know, there may be food in there, maybe food stored. They come into a new set, they work it. I just feel that I had a little more confidence in Nate's set getting worked than I did mine getting worked again. A lot of times when I run into that situation of a work set, I'll put another set right at the outside of catch circle if that set seems to go dead, and a lot of times we can connect on another coyote or fox. You know, when I'm remaking this set, there's a lot of things going through my mind. A, we had a major weather front coming through. It's been cold. Your big oversized dirt holes are not going to work. We knew we had rain coming. So what ends up happening, you've got an oversized dirt hole, they fill up with water. It's hard to get your scent to work. So what I did on this particular set, I made 2 tiny holes. I mean, I used my driver, I drove one hole and drove another, just the size of the driver. A couple reasons for that. One reason, I can get 2 different smells. So when them animals come up there, now we've already got a fox. We got fox smell there, and now we're gonna have 2 separate smells. We use a small hole, they have to search harder for it. The harder they work that set, the better chance you have of them getting caught. And then 3, the small dirt hole is not going to fill up with water as easy. I made it at a little bit of a shallower angle, so the chance of the water getting in there was not going to be a concern of mine.
There's enough fox out here. If it's a smell-o-vision, you'd be overwhelmed with fox smell. So hopefully, this set either hits tonight, or more than likely, Nate said it'll probably hit because it hasn't been worked yet. But we will see.
It's gonna get real cold tonight, Rob. They said 11 for the low, 20 for the high. You'd like to see them moving in something like that. I mean, they're hungry. They got to eat something.
Well, that's it. I mean, figure they've been for how long? Nothing to eat.
Yep. The only problem is, what I hate is this freezing rain caking over top of your sets. You got anything to stop that?
Well, one thing nice about the peat moss, even if we get a little bit of crust on the top, it should still fire. We should be all right with that. I want to go see a dog.
Let's go catch
a coyote. Let's go find us a big coyote.
They've been running. These are big tools.
They're like carpenter.
You know, when I got that fox cleaned up, he looked real good on a stretcher. When we come back, we're going to finish out the day in a high, and hopefully I can find one of those coyotes I've been looking for. And don't forget the set of the week. You're watching Trapping Time.
In 2011, the world of shotgun chokes changed forever. Bobby Sears took his Jeb's Headhunter Precision Choke Tube to the NWTF Wild Turkey Steel Target National Championships and brought home the gold. Shortly after, the Game On team got on board. By stacking the shot in front of the wad cup inside the choke tube before it exits your gun barrel, Jebs can extend your effective range way beyond anything you've ever seen. So don't get worked up about a turkey that's just out of range. Ruin his day with a Jeb's Headhunter Choke Tube. Who better to get your trapping supplies from than trappers who know what you need in the field?
Come on in.
PCS Outdoors is one-stop shopping for name-brand trapping, predator hunting and calling supplies, shooting and pest control gear at discount prices.
A lure for every animal you'd be targeting.
PCS Outdoors stands above the competition.
Quality of Sabo brand snares being made here in Michigan.
Go to PCSOutdoors.com for great selection and prices that'll make you want to stock up for your next trapping or outdoor adventure.
Where'd you get all that stuff? DakotaLineSnares.com.
I bet it cost you a fortune to ship all that.
Nope, not DakotaLineSnares.com. It's $9.95. Flat rate, it doesn't matter what you get.
Dakota Line Snares and Trapping Products has everything you need right at your fingertips. Our warehouse is packed with trapping supplies you need to be successful on your trap line, and with flat rate shipping of $9.95 on all orders, you get your money's worth.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm going to put my order in at DakotaLineSnares.com now.
You know, one of the biggest innovations to the coon trapping industry is this little gem right here. This is a dog-proof trap, or DP. They're easy to set, easy to bait. What's nice about this little jewel is I can put a lot of these out in the day and put lots and lots of fur in the shed. This week, John Chagnon, we're going to go with him in the UP of Michigan. He's going to be running a dog-proof line, and he's going to show you some great tips.
What we did there is we had some wet weather and now we got solid freezing, so I'm cleaning out my traps and putting fresh dry bait in because it's not supposed to actually rain for at least a week. That way our bait will stay. And I put it right below the trigger. This is a pull trigger on a Duke, and I put it below the trigger just so it can't freeze if it does get some moisture. That way the trigger will still fire. It's important that we get that bait out. As you see, the bait's in there, but I don't want to have a chance of it freezing. Plus, I want to make sure these DPs, this is a Bridger T3, and got to get that bait out of there that's already in it so that it doesn't freeze. It's okay to give the coon a little freebie there when he comes. But we're going to do that to all our DPs today so they work for the next week. This winter was a rough winter in northern Michigan, and the benefit of that is seeing a lot more red fox, so they did fine, and I'm not catching as many possum. So that cold northern Michigan winter, I think, took care of some of the possum population. Yeah. That fresh bait in there. That bait would still attract wet, it's just that I don't want it wet because it's going to freeze. And I don't put the bait over it's a pull trigger, and I make sure I'm not there to feed them. I make sure they can still reach in there or get their paw around the trigger so they can pull it. Okay. All right, we just got a red fox now. We're checking a couple DPs right down on the valley below, and basically there's the DP. I can already see the coon up the trail. As you can see, we had snow just the other day, and the big pond's already frozen up. We just had a good rainstorm last night. Everything snowy white. Up 2 inches 2 days ago. That's in one of the new Duke DPs. Works just as good as the old Duke DP. But he ain't happy. Use some of Sabo brand coon chow and long range Sabo lure. Got a couple Z-traps set, and these were Z-traps I used last year, and that coating that Z-traps come with, that trap's just like new almost, and I basically got a hot dog pushed on the trigger, and I soaked it in salmon oil, and the coons are quite natural to have salmon along the Sabo, which we've seen about 50 dead ones, and they're swimming all over. So evidently the coons are coming in just like little bears to feed on the feast. But there's a nice northern Michigan coon with a Z-trap holding them just fine. All right, we got our first mud coon of the day, and he's caught in a Z-trap, just like the last one was, and he's anchored by a Berkshire stake that never gave in that mud. I think it was only a standard 15-inch stake, but we'll get him dispatched. He'll look nice when he gets cleaned out. He's a good-sized coon. He's just all matted down with that mud and water. That's the first one like that today. And a nice black northern Michigan coon, and he is caught in a Duke DP. Get him dispatched and move up the river and see if we got one on our sets inland.
Thanks a lot, John. You know, on a future episode of Trapping Time, we're going to take and go in depth. I'm going to show you all my tricks of the trade when it comes to using DPs, and I'll show you how to really pile up the fur. When we come back, we're going to finish this day out, and we're going to see if I can find a dog on the trap line.
What do you demand in a quality knife? You want a knife that works as hard as you do. Weeby knives are made for trappers who want efficiency and perfection. The Weeby Elite double-edged fleshing knife has one edge that's ultra sharp, and the other side has just the right edge for pushing fat and meat for perfectly fleshed furs. And don't forget about the Weeby Wicked Sharp, the planet's sharpest skinner. When the blade goes dull, simply snap on a new one, you're ready to go. Find them at DakotaLineSnares.com.
Do you need a blind that will keep you warm on a cold winter day? Do you need a blind that won't blow away on a windy fall afternoon? Do you need a blind that will never wear out? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need a Blind Turtle hardshell hunting blind. This solid one-piece unit is perfect for deer hunters, turkey hunters, archery hunters, and gun hunters. Put it this way, if you hunt, the Blind Turtle is perfect for you.
The trophy moment only lasts a couple of seconds, but the story will be passed on for generations. They only see the glory, not the sacrifice. But I don't wait for my tall tale of glory. I handcraft my journey from start to finish. They don't see what goes on behind closed doors. An epic saga is worth 1,000 words, but my story boils down to 3. Little Whiskey Girl. Save luck for the weekend hunter.
The weather's really starting to hit. We're finishing the day out. We're starting to get a little wore out. You know, as we crest this hill and I look down in this bottom and I see this big old coyote just bouncing in a trap. There is nothing prettier than an eastern coyote in the snow bouncing around.
Rob, that's what we're here to do. Property owner asked us to take coyotes off.
That's a good looking dog.
Yeah, I don't see it rubbed out at all.
No, he actually going to be real nice fur. You actually caught one here at this gate last year, and we haven't seen any sign. This farm had no sign on it when we set it the other day, but we just know that it always has coyotes on here. So we just picked this little area here. We've got basically 2 roads coming together, edge of a field, prime time. They're probably hunting along here, along the edge. I mean, I put a little dirt hole in here, which may be fun to try and find it. We'll probably throw another set in right off the side of it.
Like I told you when I trapped this property before, the coyote tracks that you'll see at this spot, it just all comes together right here, so it's just bound to hit.
Well, there was a few dogs in here last night, as you can see. I mean, I doubt he made all these tracks. I mean, they've actually hung out here for a while. I'm actually surprised your dirt hole didn't hit, but they'll be back in here tonight. We'll have all this scent off of this one here, so we'll get him dug out. I think I was using a little deep south lure on this one here. We was trying to change it up. Usually, me and Nate, I'd throw a set in, he'd throw a set in. We were just trying to change the baits up, see which ones are working right now. And this guy definitely made a mess, but we'll get him out of here. I'm probably gonna have to switch that trap out because he looks like he got it caked with mud, but that's a Duke 175. Whoever tells you that's not enough trap, they don't know what they're talking about. That's more than what, I mean, that's more than a pad catch there. He's not getting out of there, but all right, we're gonna dispatch this coyote and we'll remake this set.
As me and Nate's little competition started heating up, it just proved, you know, student can never beat the teacher. You know, old lion versus young lion, old bull versus young bull. It just doesn't matter. He's gonna have to step up his A game if he wants to play in my league.
It's funny when you watch the tracks and figure out what's going on. Come right up this road. There's my set right there. Came right up to it. Who knows? Who knows why they hit that, not this? I mean,
I know.
Because you said it. I don't think it's got anything to do with you setting it necessarily. It's maybe, I mean, sometimes I'm hungry for Doritos. Sometimes I'm hungry for a steak. Who knows? Maybe it's the same way with coyotes.
We caught that coyote and he made an utter mess of that set. And a lot of it I attribute to the weather. If that ground would have been frozen, we wouldn't have had near the trouble. So when I went in on this remake, I cleaned as much mud as I could get out of there. You know, I always like to remake a set where I caught something. A lot of times, you know, just like that situation there, you know, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, you know, this place is pretty tore up. The chances of catching another coyote here in this big mess, just because if they are wary, you know, it may be something that signals to them, say, you know what, I'm gonna leave this alone, you know. But as a rule of thumb, I always like to remake that set. So I remade the set, you know, standard dirt hole, put everything back. To be on the safe side though, I went to the edge of a set. Now this is something I usually don't do right away. I usually let a trap have 3 or 4 days to see if it'll connect again before I do this. But because we had all this weather coming in and it just being tore up like it was, I went to the edge of the catch circle. I punched in another dirt hole.
Now what we did on this one here, this is where we caught the coyote at. All this ground litter and stuff. I just kind of like to pull some of it in, make a little mounder. There's so much coyote smell going on here right now. All we're really worried about is directing them into where the trap's at. They're not searching for bait on this one here. They're just
This is
checking.
curiosity, right?
Exactly. They're just checking out what was here. And this is a perfect location. I came off to the side about 5-6 feet. I like to keep that distance because if I happen to catch a double, usually they can't get into each other. But these coyotes, they'll come around working the edge of this. They may not commit to the inside, but we've got a fresh set here and we've got Nate's set over there. So basically we got 3 working sets here. So we caught a male and depending on what his hierarchy is in this area, I mean, that's a smaller male. Would you say 35 pounds probably?
Yeah.
Nothing major, nothing, just an average male. You're going to get other coyotes come here and investigate it. But we've got this snow. Look at these snowflakes.
Jeez,
They're
got
huge.
real big just
we
now.
were dealing with rain a little bit ago, so hopefully these coyotes and stuff move tonight. I like it when a little bit of snow gets over the set. It's still kind of tore up, and I think we'll do all right again tonight. He usually takes the first one. Once the first one goes down, then they start working it. But I don't know how many sets of tracks you've seen here, Nate, but there's just 2 or 3 more dogs that
It was
work
really
here.
hard to tell because the first thing this morning we had rain and it was starting to cover up a lot of the tracks. But you could see where something was working this area, and it's not deer. So
More than likely, I'd say we caught him, and you can almost see where the other coyotes are circling around here a little bit, and I'd almost bet that they were circling around. If we'd had another set up on top, we may have caught another one, even by accident. It might not have been working the set, just stepped in it. So I'm excited now.
so's the landowner.
Yeah,
We'll send him a picture.
that's the biggest thing.
If you're going to be a successful canine trapper, battling the elements, that's just all part of the game. You know, you want to keep those traps firing when them dogs are moving. You know, if I can give you a few tricks of the trade and you can pick up on them, it makes everybody more successful. Thanks for watching. And remember, we're keeping the tradition alive here at Trapping Time. Remember to set your DVRs every Tuesday at 8:30 on Dish Network channel 266. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at Trapping Time. I personally am going to list every week the conventions, the events we're going to be at. Also, we're going to be posting videos, anything trapping related that's going to make you a better trapper and help fuel your trapping addiction. All I hear all the time is how easy it is to trap an animal when it's so hard to shoot it. I can shoot a coyote 400 yards away. When I'm trapping, I've got to make him set his paw on something about that big. Now you tell me which is harder.